once and I'm done with you, or I'm cutting you off, and like you hear stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like people are like that a lot in our generation. I really don't understand why.
That's true. Like, there's like, okay, so with a lot of my African American friends, you know, like they always, okay, not to sound some type of way, but like there's always one of them getting shot, you know? Yeah. So whenever there's a lot of my African American friends who will be like, oh, the person who shot my brother, the person who shot my dad, I'm never forgiving them. If I find them, I'm gonna kill them, and all this stuff. That's all you hear from them, and it's from young people too. So it really shows you how, oh, young people, they can really hold a grudge too.
Yeah, it's not good to hold grudges. I know so many people like in my past that like have held grudges based off of not stupid, but like unreasonable situations. And even me, sometimes like I've held grudges. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm like perfect with forgiveness. Like I feel like everyone has their times where it's hard for them to forgive people and they can't just get over a situation automatically. So I can definitely say like I've struggled with forgiveness in my life, but I know like lots of friends that I have today struggle with forgiving people for what they've done against them, and like it really gets them, it really affects their lives. Yeah, so you see how it affects people's lives when it's so hard for them to forgive people. It's like they're holding this burden on their chest when they can just easily, well, not easily let it go, but let it go and just like,
I mean, it has to be easy.
Forgive.
Like forgiving, you don't even have to think about it or anything. Okay, so we're welcoming Angel. She just came, so here's another co-host, Angel.
Hi.
So, I mean, to kind of recap, we've just been going over like the basics of forgiveness and how how our society, how our youth experiences forgiveness. Wait, were you saying anything, or did you finish?
I was talking about like how in our society people, like, well, not in our society, but in our generation, like growing up, like as teenagers, people find it so like I don't know, cool, or like they think that they're laid back because they don't have to forgive people, and they think like, oh, you do me dirty once, I'm cutting you off, this and that. So basically like how our generation is like so resistant to forgiveness. Yeah.
So do you have anything to contribute?
Well, I think that's true because this generation, like, once something happens to them, like, they feel, I guess, betrayed, I guess, sometimes you could say. And they get to that point, they're like, oh, you did that to me, so I shouldn't have to forgive you or whatever. But even if you do forgive somebody, that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to become friends with them again. Just forgiving them is just that you're accepting or, like, their apology, basically. So, yeah.
That's true. I like what she said. Like, I mean, not that I like what she said, but like, I get what she said when she said, it's not necessarily you have to become friends with them. Like, just acknowledging their apology.
We have a caller. Hold on real quick. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is Carol. How are you today? Good?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be brief. The reason for the call is if you owe $10,000...
Okay, we don't owe $10,000. Moving on. So, yeah. Was I talking?
She was saying something
You were saying
about friends.
something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, it's not necessarily that you have to be straight up friends with them. I feel like with forgiveness, you just say, you accept their apology, or in some ways you apologize for what you did to them or something. You can move on with this. Not that you have to be all buddy with them again. So,
I feel like when situations like that happens, it really like affects people's relationships with people, like whether it's family or friends or even like marriage and like all that stuff. Like I feel like forgiveness and like a situation that can happen that can affect your trust with someone. Like I feel like with forgiveness comes trust in a way. So I feel like when situations happen like that, it affects people's relationships with each other because they think this person did me wrong, they can probably do it again. So they're so like hesitant to forgive because they're like, but what if they do this again? What if they do what they just did to me again? What if this situation is like a cycle and this isn't just like a one-time thing? So
yeah, that's what a lot of people are scared of.
That's why people like, I feel like that's why it's so hard for people to forgive, because I think this can happen to me again. Like, I really don't, I feel like maybe I don't know who this person is to me, and like they can do this to me again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like for example, like if you tell a close friend a secret or something, and then they go around telling other people, you're like, oh, I trusted you with that secret, and you told everyone, so like, how can I forgive you? Yeah.
You have a point.
And it's like you're kind of not, what's the word, watchful? Hesitant to like tell them things and to be in their presence, because it's like, can I trust this person? Can I be around this person without them telling them my business? So forgiveness and trust definitely do go hand in hand to me. And another thing I want to point out is I feel like betrayal, to me, as bad as it sounds, is like a necessity in our lives, because we all know we go through trials and tribulations and stuff like that. So I feel like betrayal is one of those. And I feel like betrayal is something that it's like needed for us to go through, because Jesus couldn't get to the cross without Judas.
Ooh. Okay.
He couldn't though. Like, it's true. Jesus couldn't get to the cross without Judas. Is it Judas? Judas betraying him. So, you know, betrayal and learning to forgive people is all a part of life. And yeah.
Yeah, because no matter what, people are going to let you down. You can't let that stop you. So, no matter what, especially if they let you down, I feel like that's something you need to take and be like, oh, especially since they didn't do what especially I wanted them to do. Like, I should do them a favor and forgive them first, show them God's love, you know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
In the Bible, it says that we shouldn't trust any man on earth but God himself. So I feel like that goes with that as well, because it's like you said, people are always going to let you down and stuff, so you can't really depend on everyone. And even though, okay, where am I going with this? Even though people are always going to let you down, you still shouldn't let that affect the fact that you're supposed to forgive them and move on from what they do to you. Like, no matter what happens, you always have to forgive people. Like, can you guys give any scenario where, like, something really crazy happens and you feel like I'm hate this person, I'm never going to forgive them, but, like, you have to forgive them at the end of the day?
I mean, I'll start off with a little one. Okay, a little one, yeah.
Go ahead,
you know, when you leave stuff in the fridge and you're like, don't touch this. I'm leaving it in the fridge. You come back 2 hours later, your stuff is gone. That one, you have to take a step back and be like, it's okay.
Very true, man.
Food is always there.
Very true, man.
So I could forgive them, you know. And it's hard. That's something really hard to do. Even how small it is, it's very hard to do. So
I think stealing is the main thing. I think stealing is the main thing. Like, people stealing things from people.
Stealing my food. Yeah.
It's gonna be me when I get home today.
You know, you have to step back and be like, would God care if somebody stole his stuff? Look, we stole God's life, Jesus' life from him, right? Because we are us sinners. So God forgave us of our sins. He died on the cross and suffered for us. Jesus. Yeah. Jesus did that. Yeah. So it all comes together.
Yeah. I feel like stealing is the biggest main thing of that. Like, losing people's trust from stealing things from you.
I feel like going further than that, like, okay, so I had one example. I was going to say, like, a scenario where you're in a relationship, whether it be marriage or your boyfriend, girlfriend. You should be only married, not boyfriend, girlfriend. But a relationship, and that person does cheat on you, that can affect your forgiveness with the person. Because, you know, some people really let that get to them, and it, like, affects their whole relationship with the person. And then, like you said earlier, I just remembered, you said something about how, like, when someone kills another person, the person's family doesn't want to forgive them because they're so, like, upset and hurt about, like, what's happened. Like, they just lost this person, and they're like, how am I going to forgive you? You just took this person off of earth. So I feel like those are big scenarios where it's hard for people to forgive, most definitely.
Also, they be trying to get, like, revenge.
Yeah, like, instead of leaving it to God, they try to get revenge. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're put in that situation, you know, like, you probably act like that at first, but if you're a real Christian, you step back and be like, no, this is God's fight to do. I shouldn't interfere with this. So yeah.
That's actually something that happened like that last year.
What happened?
Someone that I knew or somebody told me, they I guess their cousin or I think it was their brother. No, I think it was their brother. Their brother shot somebody and I think he died. I wasn't sure, but he shot somebody and they died, and then I guess the other person's family tried to get revenge, so they shot their mom. The other person's mom, the family.
Yeah. Now what did the mom do to you? That you have to go shoot the mom. You shouldn't be shooting anybody. That's crazy.
I know.
That's what unforgiveness can do to you. I feel like it could leave something in your heart to make you feel so bitter to do something crazy like that.
And if you take forever, we don't take forever, but if you're so if you wait too long to forgive people, it will overwhelm you and build up on you, and it will haunt you. And you remember that one video we watched? It was the guy, he had a out of body experience. He went to heaven. We watched this video, and this guy prayed to God basically for an out of body experience. So he wanted to experience what heaven was like, and so God gave him that, and he got to experience what heaven was like, and it was Judgment Day, and he saw people with seeds inside their chest. And when he went to go, when people were in a line, and when he finally got the chance to talk to God, what happened? When he finally got the chance to talk to God, God asked him why he didn't forgive all those people on earth, and he said, I did. And God was like, if you did forgive all those people on earth, why didn't you talk to them? You didn't have a problem with them. And God basically explained to him that those seeds in his chest were symbols to represent all the people in his life who he hasn't forgiven. So it's forgiveness is a really big thing, because God is going to be counting on that on Judgment Day, which is why we really have to take heed of that and really put that full force effect into our lives. Forgiveness is something that we have to take seriously.
Yeah.
That video was powerful.
Also, I feel like it makes you the bigger person. So kind of basically apology. Something happens and the other person's oh, I'm not going to apologize to that person for whatever reason, and the other person's oh, I forgive you and I apologize. That makes you that shows that you're the bigger person and you're more taking more action.
I feel with that, I feel with that also comes pride. You said, people not being the bigger person kind of makes you seem prideful, almost you have too much pride in you and you don't want to forgive the person because it's why should I do it, or why can't they do it? But she was saying, just do it, because it will make you the better and the bigger person in the situation.
So for now, we're just gonna go on a short little break. Please stay tuned. Our topic is still forgiveness when we come back. So anyways, the number to call in is 614-577-1434, 614-577-1434, or 614-577-1464, 614-577-1464. Please stay tuned.
we're going to be continuing the topic of forgiveness and extending on that and broadening our views. And we have another member that is back with us again today. So again, I'm Myra.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Angel.
And I'm Cherie.
From Culver's. So anyways, today, basically, to recap the first half, we were talking about what forgiveness is, how our generation sees forgiveness and why it's so hard for people to forgive. And then we talked about scenarios that make it hard for people to forgive. And so we're just going to continue going from there. And we left off on talking about how God basically can't forgive us for our sins if we can't forgive others for the things that they've done against us. So we should just continue and basically talk about like the effects of unforgiveness and what unforgiveness can do to us. Because we talked about like us carrying burden on ourselves and we don't forgive people, but we should probably just broaden on this. It's just a broad topic. So Rachel, you should start us off. It's such a broad topic, you know. Hey.
Anyways, effects of unforgiveness can include bitterness.
Don't tell me.
Hey, tell everybody. So, anyways, it could include bitterness. If you have all that in your heart, it's gonna weigh down your heart, and a lot of stuff you won't even want to do. For example, if you're gonna be doing work, you're thinking about, oh, I hate when this person did this to me. You're gonna be doing your chores. You be like, oh my God, why did Amma do this? Like, you just be thinking about that. Yeah. So if you don't forgive, it's just gonna interfere with everything you're doing,
Crazy
and it's
stress.
it's gonna stress.
Crazy
That's one
stress.
thing. You're gonna be stressed out about it, and it's gonna be all your fault simply because you say, oh, I want to hold this grudge, and you really shouldn't hold it.
Stressing over something that could have been like solved.
Resolved.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Has anyone ever been in a situation or know anyone that's been in a situation where it was extreme and it was really hard for them to forgive? Or even if it was little and it was hard for them to forgive?
I think everyone's been in a situation.
You guys want to name them?
Maybe like when you get into an argument with like a friend and stuff and they say something that like, I mean, because when you fight, people say stuff intentionally to hurt one another, and maybe like, even though you guys were just fighting, that comment may have gotten to you like really bad or something, and you're just like, I forgive you and all, but that comment is like still with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be an example.
Yeah, I've been in a situation like that. It was like it was in like middle school, and like our school ran out of food, and we had to go to our they ran out of food. I guess like they miscounted like how many students and stuff. And one of our reading teachers, she always had like snacks in her cabinets and stuff. So she like, the kids that didn't get food, come to my classroom and I'll give you some stuff. And I went in her classroom, I got some snacks, and I went back to my other classroom. And I was like, okay, let me go get like a paper towel to put on the table. I came back and my friends had ate my food. And I was so like,
I'd be mad.
I was so mad.
Livid.
So I just started
you
going
didn't have
off.
lunch that day, did you? Oh.
I was just so disappointed and mad. But then I forgave her after because she was a really close friend of mine. And we're still friends now.
That's good.
Okay, in that situation, me personally, I would forgive them, but probably not right away. But I forgive them, probably not talk to them anymore. But yeah, but that's not what you're supposed to do, to be honest. Because I take food seriously. That's the only reason why I said that. But I think I would forgive them, but not right away. Probably like a week later or something.
I would
And
forgive
then-
them in the same day.
No, probably like a week later. And then
I'm really quick to forgive, so I'll forgive you in like 2 days.
I'm quick to forgive for everything else, but just not with food. So
Have you ever been in that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put food in the fridge and your family eats it.
I was talking about that.
when I get home.
It's okay.
I definitely have been in a situation where it was hard for me to forgive someone. There's just been too many. Oh, I can name one from yesterday. So we were watching a movie in class, and I sit in the back of the class, and this guy sits in the front of the class. And the bell was about to ring. You know, everybody was packing up their stuff, getting ready to leave. And the movie wasn't over. So I was sitting there, like, the whole class is still watching the movie. And these two guys in the front decide, to start standing up in front of the TV, and they're tall and they're big, so they're blocking the whole screen. And I'm sitting there like, can you guys please sit down? Like, the movie's not over. And they ignore me. And so I'm sitting there like, can you guys please sit down because the movie's not over? And one of them turns around and he's like, the bell's about to ring. And I was like, well, it has this, so can you please sit down? And he was like, class is about to be over. And I was like, well, it's not, so can you please sit down? And they continued ignoring me.
Are you sure you said it in that tone?
It was a white boy, yeah. And no, I didn't talk like that. The boy did.
I know, in that tone. You said that in that tone. You didn't say it with the attitude.
Anyways, and so this other kid was like, why don't you watch the movie on Netflix? And I was like,
what? I'm supposed to be watching it in school.
we're watching it in class, so why would I watch it on Netflix? And that really upset me because, like, we were going to get points for watching the movie, and they were interrupting us watching the movie. So I was trying to get my points, and it came into class the next day, and I get butthurt, so I was kind of upset. And the one of the guys came into the classroom. He was like, you look nice today. And I said, thank you. And I didn't want to forgive him because I was really mad, but I had to force myself to because he complimented me and because it was the right thing to
that
do.
That doesn't mean nothing.
And because it was the right thing to do. So I did what I had to do because God wanted me to forgive. So that's what happened.
I appreciate that you forgave.
Okay.
He didn't apologize, right?
No, he just said you look nice today.
That's one thing. Also, people who backstab you want to be fake sometimes, but just saying. But at the same time, they don't have to ask for forgiveness before you forgive them. You have to forgive them anyways.
Mm-hmm. Also, one thing that I noticed is that sometimes when you forgive people like too many times, it becomes a habit, and like people start to run over you because they're like, oh, if I do this, she's gonna forgive me,
Yeah, so let me just do it anyways. I feel like that's what also, because I remember we were talking about this in the first half, and we were like, people think it's a cycle, and so they don't want to forgive. And for some cases, like you said, it is a cycle. So for some people, it's like, I really don't want to forgive this person, but at the same time I do. But at the same time I don't because I know they're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. So that's why people struggle to forgive because they know it's just going to keep happening and happening.
I have a question. I don't know if you guys have already asked this, but okay, so like let's say there's a person and like stuff continuously happens with like, okay, her friend is always doing something to her, so they're not friends anymore. And like she forgives the friend, like this is something that's always continuously happening, and she forgives the friend, but she just doesn't want to like interact with her anymore. So is that like considered like holding a grudge or not forgiving them? Like you forgive them, but you just don't want to like be their friends anymore.
That was kind of what I was just saying. Like, well, before you came, I was saying you don't necessarily have to be friends with them. You just you forgive them, but you don't have to become friends with them.
Okay.
What do I have to say about that? I can say yeah. If it was me personally, I would forgive the person but not want to interact with them. But then again, I don't know if, like, I don't want to say that's not how Jesus handled things in the Bible, so we shouldn't do that. But like, I've never read like a story about Jesus where like someone did him wrong and he went back to forgiving them like nothing ever happened. Like, I want to know if Jesus ever did that, because if that's the case, then I should start doing that. But until then, I guess not.
Jesus forgave us.
That's what I was going to say.
And act like nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he took all that pain like nothing's there. Like he did all that sin in himself. So, like, with him doing that should be, like, something to tell you. Even when we forgive people, let's just act like nothing was there. Let's just forget about everything.
So, like, with your friend, right? You said, like, they forgive the person, they don't want to interact with them anymore. So maybe, like you said, they should just, as hard as it may be, they should just forgive them and act like nothing happened.
So, like, if they see the new person, say hi.
You could say hi, but, like, I don't think you have to necessarily go back to be a buddy.
Or you don't have to even have full conversations.
If
people fall off anyways, so.
Yeah, but, like, don't be, like, purposely not talking to them. Whenever they say hi, you don't talk to them. That shows that you're not over it.
Okay, what if it's like you guys just don't talk to each other like at all? Like you don't attempt to like talk to that person, or they don't attempt to talk to you, and you guys see each other but you don't say anything.
Like you guys make eye contact.
then you
and
both
everything.
still aren't over it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
both still aren't over it.
Because that would mean that you're still on the fact that something happened, and that's why you're not talking to each other.
But it's not that you have to be best friends, talk everything at once and stuff like that. But
Now, if she didn't talk to you and you talked to her like saying hi,
Then
then that shows
she-
you got
you're
over it. Yeah,
it.
but she's not.
Yeah.
So that's fine if you say hi first or something like that.
Just
shows
make
you're the bigger person.
Yeah, like just make sure you're always being the biggest person in every situation that you encounter. Because you don't want to be looking as petty as them. You don't want to stoop down to anyone's level.
Level, exactly. Because in the end, you'll get the blessing.
Oh yeah, amen. Okay, so I have a scenario for you guys, and I want to know like what you guys think. The people that are watching, you can call in and give us your feedback and what you guys think. So let's say you have a friend who likes, like, who doesn't purposely tell people's business, but they do it anyways because I guess they can't help themselves. So let's just say you have a friend who basically is a gossip, and you tell them something really, really important about your family, like really, really important family business. Like you don't want anyone to know about it but them, and you're telling them not because you want them to know, but because you need someone to talk to. Yeah. So let's say you're telling someone about your family issues, and you don't want anyone to know about it. And somehow, some way, they end up telling somebody else who also goes to tell a whole lot of people. But the thing is, they're telling you that they didn't have a choice but to tell the other person because the person had like some sort of ultimatum on them. Like they were forced to tell that information. So if that's the case, like they were forced to tell the information, but you still told them not to tell it anyways, would you forgive the person or not?
You should still forgive them, but I just feel like that wouldn't even make sense.
It doesn't make
How can
sense.
you
You
be
can't
I'm saying just in case.
I know, but people be saying. I
People do
understand what
say
you
stuff
mean.
like
Yeah.
that, like, and it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand how you can be like, oh, if you don't tell me, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Like,
How is that
Right.
possible?
Why
Like
do you
let's
wanna
okay,
do
let's
that?
just say
Portion.
forget that there's ever the chance that it doesn't make sense. Let's just say like in a perfect world it does make sense to do that. So let's just say the person actually was forced to tell that information. Like would you forgive them?
I mean,
or
of
not?
course, I still forgive
Of
them.
course I forgive them, but I just feel like you don't have to be forced for anything. Like no one told you to
Mhm.
bring it up in the first place because maybe like that person brought it up and they're like, oh, never. Because I know sometimes
never.
people can be like, oh, you bring up something and then you're like, never mind, and they're like, oh,
No,
you can't
tell
just
'em.
bring it up and not say anything. So now you have to say anything. If that was the case, then that's kind of your own fault because no one told you to even bring it up in the first
I
place.
hate when
You know?
people do
It was
that.
a
You'd be like,
conversation between you and
you'd be
someone
like,
else. No
Hey,
one
did you
asked-
hear about this?
That-
What?
did you
Never
hear about
mind.
that fight?
No, tell me. What? Like
Right.
no.
Like no one even told you to bring it up in the first place. If you were told not to bring it up, you shouldn't be bringing it
And
up
you'd
unless
be
you're
like,
talking
"Nah, I
to the
can't
person
tell
that told
you,
you about
no."
it.
Mhm.
And
So
I-
you guys would forgive that person in the perfect world, but
Yeah.
in
both
reality,
worlds.
you wouldn't.
I
In
feel like
reality,
in
I
both
would
words
too.
too, but it would take me kind of a while because it's just like,
Trust.
why?
I think.
It don't make sense, but
Why?
you have to forgive them.
Yeah.
Even for the most stupid reason. You have to.
I agree with you guys.
That's real.
You guys want to like recap and on
Wrap
the
up.
whole part 1 and part 2? I mean, you can recap on part 1.
Oh yeah, we were here for how long? So. Well, we basically explained everything about forgiveness, about how Christ forgave us, and about mostly. I mean, what type of scenarios do we do?
You brought up like a couple of
Oh yeah, like how a cut up of
People.
African Americans.
people.
I mean, I'm just saying
People.
it. People
People.
sometimes.
People.
How people sometimes they'll say, "Oh, they killed a person, my family member. I'm never gonna forgive them. Oh, I want to take revenge on them. I want to get back at them." And we explain how that's not the way to go, because no matter what circumstance, you gotta let it go and be
Violence is
grudge.
never the answer.
Yeah, and it's never your fight; it's God's fight. So yeah.
Violence, like gang violence and whatever stuff like that, is becoming like a big problem now.
And you know what? It's all because of unforgiveness. They can't forget what's in the past.
It is because, I remember like last year some guy died and like I don't know if he was in a gang or if he hung out with friends that was in a gang, but yeah, that happened and like they're like, oh, I won't rest until I find the killer and I'll make sure the killer is dead too, blah blah blah. So it's just a whole bunch of like guns and violence and stuff like that.
When you look back at it, yeah, it's all like a simple unforgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you need to take revenge. I feel like that's the way people like release their anger, but there are different ways to like deal with your anger.
Better,
You
way
don't have
better
to,
ways to do it.
like take revenge on people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
For part 2, I would say that no matter if you're holding a grudge or there's problems between you and somebody, I think that you should just kind of just drop it, or you could talk to them about it if you want. But you just basically want to clear things out because you don't want to have to always have that in your heart, always thinking about, oh, how much you hate that person. I mean, it's not benefiting you in any way. So I think you should just forgive and forget.
I agree.
So basically, in part one, we talked about what society, how society sees forgiveness and how they think it's cool to like hold grudges because like you do me dirty once and I'm never gonna forgive you again and stuff like that. And then we talked about the effects of unforgiveness and how it can basically destroy your life gradually if you let it like get to you, if you let it affect you, if you like choose to unforgive someone, it can truly affect you. And we talked about how God really takes forgiveness seriously. And in the Lord's Prayer, it says, give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. So basically it's saying, forgive us of the things that we've done as we've forgiven the people that have done us dirty. Basically saying, whoever wrote the Lord's Prayer is basically saying they're asking God to forgive them now that after they've forgiven the people that have hurt them. So like you can't go to God to ask him to forgive you if you have people in your life that you haven't forgiven. Like forgiveness, like we said, starts from the inside. You have to forgive all the people around you before you can ask God for any type of forgiveness. And that's about it.
So, did we say any of the...
gosh.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, so that's it for this segment of Holy Teens. So come back next week. We got a new topic for you. And again, I'm Rachel with
Myra.
Angel.
And Cherise.
and we are
Holy
Holy
Teens.
Teens.
Relax,